Right, yo, what is up, guys? I changed the layout this time because this morning I woke up and I started to record a video and I had a fat streak running down the screen right here from my glare or whatever. So I tried to play around with lighting and everything for a second, but couldn't get it to work. So I grabbed one of the USB cameras we use for Happy Camper and put it up on my desk and kind of switched things up a little bit. So this might be how I'm doing it from now on, just so you guys know. Aside from that, it's the morning and I'm completely not awake yet. So I know in the last video I kept saying resolution instead of residence. So please excuse me in the mornings when I do dumb stuff like that. I'm completely not awake right now. Aside from that, I thought today it would be cool. I know in that last video I was talking about EQing for a second and was showing you how to EQ that one sound. The Getter's freaking dope outside of Serum. And I wanted to do more video on that today, but I didn't want to do that without explaining music theory first, because I think music theory is really important, especially when it comes to EQing. So I guess to get started, I pulled up this song. Actually, no, we're gonna start with something else. We're gonna start with major scales. It's really important to know your music theory. If you don't know your music theory, you can sit there and try and figure out what's going to sound right, what's going to sound better. But if you just know your music theory, you can cut out a lot of time, and you can spend more time doing other things. So I'm sure you guys have all heard about musictheory.net. I'm not sure about how many of you guys have actually gone on this website before and checked it out. But back in high school, when I was trying to learn music theory on my own, this is the website that I used, and it's freaking dope. But let's go ahead and we'll start with, I guess, the staff. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. We just want, yeah, here we go. So these are all the notes in a staff. It's not really important that you guys know the note names like this and everything, but let's just go ahead and go through G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are the standard notes that you can have. And then does it even talk about... no, it doesn't in this one. Steps and accidentals. Here we go. So this is going to be our root C right here. We'll just start. This is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and it repeats. There's also these black keys, which are called semitones. They're a half step in between the white keys. So this is going to be C sharp, this is going to be D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. The other way is that they also work the other way around, and this would be D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. So C sharp, D flat are the same thing. It's the same black key. They just have two different names, and we'll get more into that later, but that depends on what key you're in, which is really why I wanted to go over EQing today, because if we pay attention to what key we're in, we can make EQing that much easier. So these are all the notes. Those are all the black keys and the semitones. Hopefully you guys all know that. I'm not going to spend too much time dwelling on that stuff. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting in this? Yeah, enharmonic spelling, that's when they're like the same. There's an example on here. Nope. Yeah, so this would be enharmonics, like E flat, ignore this example, but E flat and D sharp are enharmonically relative because they're both the same note. So skip that, and the next thing we're going to go over to, which is the really important part of this, is major scales. We'll start with major scales. There's two different scales that you can write in. Well, there's more than two different scales, but the main ones that we'll be focusing on right now are going to be major scales, which is this one, and minor scales. The major scale is, we'll just take this C, for example. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Just nice up and down. That's a C major scale. There's a pattern that every C major scale or every major scale has, and it kind of goes back to the semitones thing we were talking about with the black and white keys, but it's whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step right there, F to G whole step, G to A whole step, A to B whole step, B to C is a half step. So every major scale, no matter what note you start on, has this same pattern. So let's say if we wanted to do like an F major scale, which is this note right here, we'd go F, to G as a whole, G to A as a whole. Next one's a half step, so we go A to B flat. Next one is going to be a whole step, so B flat to C, another whole step, C to D, D to E is another whole step, and then the last one's a half step, we land back on F. So that's the pattern for a major scale, that if you follow this pattern, you'll be a major scale. Major music is, well, let me load up a piano real quick so you guys can actually hear, and then I guess I'll pull this song back up later. And we'll do it with Serum, just on a sawtooth wave, just so we can, why not? We're electronic music producers. Don't save, hurry up. I'm eating pineapple right now. Pineapple is good for you because it has bromelain, or bromelain, something like that in it. And fun fact of the day, that helps clean your lungs out. So if you're sick or quitting smoking or anything like that for whatever weird reason, pineapple is really good for you. I plug my MIDI controller in real quick too. But let's go ahead and load up an instance of Serum. Whoops, X for Serum. Here we go. Cool. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to do the C major scale, which is this one right here. So you can, oh nice. Oh, you can see me playing the piano now. That's fucking dope. Well, I wonder if you can actually. But anyways, so here's our C major scale. That's the scale. We can also do the F major, which starting on F would be F. Well, I'm not going to say it while I play it, but you can kind of tell in these scales they have the same no matter where you are. We'll do G, I guess. They have the same kind of happy overtones to it because it's a major scale, the way it's patterned. The next scale that we'll talk about, which is where a lot of electronic music is written, is minor scales. And we'll go back to here. Minor scales. Alright, so minor scales have a different pattern to them. They have a whole, half, whole, half, whole process. So we'll start on, if we start on A is just going to be straight up from all the white keys. So we'll do, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and then back down. You can kind of tell how that one sounds different, you know, like we'll play an A minor, which is where if we played a major, let me see if I even remember all my scales right. Cool, I do remember my scales, that's cool. But you can tell how those two have a different, it's especially that third note, you know, whether it's or it's a different context. So be aware of, well, I guess I could say, in every song, and I'll go and I'll load up my song now. And in every song you use, there's a key, which hopefully you've heard of this terminology too. But the key is dependent on which one of those scales you're using throughout the main portion of your song. Load. More pineapple. Come on. My computer's slow this morning. Slow like me. Cool, here we go. So, this song that I have is written in F sharp minor, I believe. Or no, is it F sharp major? Nope. Let's go to this one, sure. Let's go to the saw stacks, actually, I'll be able to tell that way. Oh no, I have it inverted, so... Give me a second, what did I do here? I did something wild. Cool, yeah. So it's an F sharp major, actually. These, if it was minor, it would be, you can kind of hear how those sound different. But the first chord of this song is, so it's F sharp major. So I can tell that whenever I go through this song, any of the notes that I'm playing in this song are going to be of these. It's going to be any of those notes in this entire song. Even if you went and followed the chord progression, you could check and see all of my, what would that be? A. Sorry, I'm not good at reading MIDI, but it's using any of those notes in this song. And we'll talk more about chord progressions and how you progress from chord to chord in another video, because I don't want to do too much at this point. But now that we know what key I'm in, and I'll just make the point what I was with the EQing. But now that I know what key I'm in, when I go to EQ certain things, like we'll talk about the bass real quick. I've got it using an auto filter actually to EQ out everything. But then when I go to the spectrum right here, I'm boosting. Oh, it didn't save, that's why. That's fucking embarrassing, guys. But I should have been boosting right here at F sharp, because that's where the root harmonic is of this song. And so I want to boost F sharp because that's going to be the most present, note in all of this song. If you go through this whole song, you'd be able to hum an F sharp and it would sound like it would fit. So when you go and EQ things, you can do this F sharp, and that's what I was talking about last time with that song. I think it was an F in that song too, but I came up here and I boosted right at that F and I cut right below it because you want that root note to be present, and that'll help provide a lot of clarity in your music. And of course, there is the whole thing, do it if it sounds right. That's true. You do have to do it if it sounds right. But there's going to be a lot of instances when you're EQing where instead of fishing for that individual note, you can be able to go to your song and say, okay, I'm in F sharp, and after a while too, you'll pick up on which notes sound dissonant in your song, and you'll be able to go to those notes, find them real quick, and fish them out. And I think I did that in, what is this? Is this my? No, I didn't do that one. I just did general mid-side processing. I don't think I have an example in this song actually, but when you can fish for resonant notes, you can go through and you can find those weak dissonant points, and you can just pinpoint them out right away based on knowing what key you're in. And it takes a while to kind of develop all of that skill and stuff, but you'll get to a point eventually where you'll know, okay, I'm in F sharp. The dissonant notes in this one, depending if I'm a major or minor scale, is going to be F or E. And instead of sitting there and fishing through your EQ, you can just go right quickly, and you know which notes are supposed to be brought out more. So I think I will end that. How long has it been? Still getting used to these videos. They're still kind of weird. Tell me how long I've been recording. No, it doesn't. I think we'll end on there. But seriously, go to this website and do this musictheory.net stuff. And just learn your major and minor scales, and go to piano and just start on any note that you want. Just start on like a I don't know, A, and then just follow that whole half, whole half pattern for major, or for minor it's whole half, whole half whole. And you guys will really start to understand how you can EQ your song based on just knowing the 7 notes that you're already supposed to be writing a key with. So hopefully this video made sense. I'm going to go back and watch it again, and if it's awkward as shit, I'm going to fucking redo it. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good day, and go ahead and like and subscribe and comment if you guys could. That'd be awesome. But if not, I will see you next Saturday for a Sounders